So my final thoughts are that life can be just as wonderful as you hope. That when you reach midlife particularly, there is this thought that it is the end, that this is the final chapter, that you're just going to have to overcome health issues, the menopause, and that it's a kind of slow decline. But this really is an opportunity for you to create a new purpose, for you to live the life that you came here for. And I can tell you that age 50, if someone had told me that I would be traveling the world, which is my purpose, running 2 life purpose businesses, which I love and fill me with energy and allow me to travel and support my family, I would never believe it. And I'll tell you one more little secret thing.
Welcome to Inspired Choice today. I'm your host, Caroline Biesalski, here to bring you authentic stories, surprising lessons, and powerful takeaways to fuel your journey in business and life. In each episode, I'll take you from one inspiring guest to the next, blending their experiences with my expertise to uncover practical strategies you can use right away. Whether you're starting out or stepping up, stay tuned for insights and actionable tips that make a difference. And stick around until the end for a special freebie just for our listeners. Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline and my today's guest is Ros Place, and I'm so happy that she said yes to our interview. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you, Caroline. I'm really happy to be here with you.
That's so great. And you told me you are in Mexico right now. And I would love to introduce you to the audience first, of course, because we want to get to know you. You are a guardian angel communicator from England, and you empower midlife women to discover their true purpose by helping them channel their guardian angel. With unwavering support, you guide your clients beyond the learning phase to gain clarity, trust in themselves, and find answers to life's biggest questions. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast, Ros Place.
Thank you so much. What a lovely introduction. Thank you, Caroline.
So great. So you recognize yourself. It is you. I'm happy. I'm happy to talk to you and learn more about the guardian angels. And my first question is, how did you discover your ability to communicate with guardian angels, and what inspired you to guide others?
Oh, that's a lovely question. Well, I was born with a special gift, and that gift was being able to talk to guardian angels. And for probably about 20 years, I was very happy working contentedly, helping people by asking their guardian angels questions for them. So people would come to me, they would have questions for their guardian angels, and it was something that I loved to do, to get answers for them. And once I became a little bit more well-known, a little bit more popular, but also not just professionally, once I became a mum and I've got 2 teenage boys and Eddie, my husband, and we started to get all of the complications of what it can be like to live just a daily life, I found myself feeling quite overwhelmed because I really love helping people. I love it. It's like one of my first responses to anything is like, how can I help? Like, do you need some help? Do you want some help? And I was brought up to believe that if you can help people, then you should help people. So for about 20 years, I was waking up in the morning to lovely clients and people reaching out to me with questions for their guardian angels. And I felt like I was failing because I wasn't able to help people in the way that I really wanted to help them, because helping is about helping people to do things for themselves, really. That's what I love to do. But I was so busy, I kept telling myself, like, it's just quicker to do it this way. It's just quicker for me to do it myself. People are coming, they want answers. I'll just get the answers for them. And then things really changed in lockdown. And I think things changed for a lot of people in lockdown. I was like faced with myself and faced with the life I'd created, quite honestly. And I found myself, probably like a lot of people, a lot of women I know, juggling more than they'd ever juggled before. It was ridiculous. I mean, I would be in my little office upstairs working on client sessions, in the spaces that I had in between, running all the way downstairs to check on my 2 teenage boys. Well, they weren't teenagers then. One of them was a teenager, the other one was younger than that. Checking they were okay, checking they were doing their schoolwork, which they weren't because they were locked down and they weren't going to school, and they also weren't doing their schoolwork, and they weren't going to the like online lessons which they were supposed to have. And I can just remember running up and down the stairs, checking that they were okay, feeling guilty. It was a crazy, crazy time. And one particular evening, after this was the usual day of running up and down the stairs, trying to work and trying to keep the family happy, I was laying the table and I'd cooked a meal for all of us in between my running up and down the stairs, because you're a mum and that's important. That's what you do. You bring your family together and you have to try and make everything work. So I was laying the table and I called everyone to the table. So Eddie and my 2 boys, I said, dinner. Everyone ran to the table and they all sat down to a plate of food in front of them. And I was standing at the table just looking at them, so kind of smiling, feeling happy and satisfied in myself. And my eldest looked up at me and he said, "Where are you sitting, Mum?" And I realised that I hadn't even laid myself a place at the table. And I can still remember the sting of the tears that came into my eyes. I just remember feeling embarrassed. That was my immediate reaction. I'm so embarrassed. I was like, how did this happen? How did you get to this point? And it clicked. Something really clicked for me in that moment. So what I did was I made myself an actual appointment with myself. So I went into my Google Calendar, just like I would for a client, just like I would for a podcast interview, just like I would for a friend or someone that needed me. I made an actual appointment for myself, with myself in my diary. And I went upstairs and I sat with Tristan, and he showed me how I could teach other women to channel their own guardian angels. Because you're really able to move forward in your life when you've got a tool that you know how to use. And what happened then was that I reached out to a few clients who had been asking me for a long time, can you show me how to do this? And I'd said, no, I can't, because I was born with it. And I said, Tristan's shown me this 12 steps that will teach you how to verbally channel your guardian angel. Do you want to do it? And they all said yes. And to begin with, it took a whole year to teach women how to channel their own guardian angels, because there are 12 steps. And now women are channeling their guardian angels in less than 12 weeks. And women are getting answers to their own questions. They're communicating smoothly, having conversations with their guardian angels, asking questions which are sometimes really personal and private questions that are in your heart, and getting answers. And their entire lives are changing. And that is the channel of clarity method. And for me, what that means is that I can teach people how to do something for themselves. And in my personal life, we've got a team of table setters now, and one of them's 52, one of them's 19, and one of them's 13, which means that every time I come to sit at the table, there's always a place for me now. And sometimes there's even some food that someone might have prepared for me, because I can now show people how to do things for themselves, rather than saying, it's just quicker to do it myself. I'll just do it myself. I've shown people how to do things for themselves. And it's strengthened me as a mum, and it's strengthened me as a guardian angel communicator. So personally, professionally, it was a hard lesson, but it's worked out for everybody, I think.
Wow, it shows how important teaching is. And also, I love how you pointed out about the empowerment, I would call it, of others by
Mm.
teaching them, and not, and the other word would be by doing it yourself or by yourself, or that would be depriving others from the feeling of, oh, yeah, I did something beautiful for someone else, right?
Oh, it's so true. I agree with you completely. But I think sometimes we're stuck in what always has been. And I think the more life goes on, the more you are occupied by things. You know, you don't suddenly wake up one day and you've got less things to do. You've got more things to do. And it's so much easier just to think, oh, I'll just do it. It's quicker. I'll do it myself. It's just easier. It's just easier that way because you haven't got the time to actually sit down and maybe explain something to someone. But as you say, it is empowering to be able to do things for yourself, to give someone that precious gift of being able to ask questions and get answers from their highest guide that can help them in their lives and their whole family and everything they care about professionally and personally too. But it takes something has to happen, I think, for it to be the moment where you're prepared to take that different approach.
Yes, when you open up your mind and your heart as well, and then you are ready, and you know this saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right?
Mm, yeah,
Shows
I've
up.
heard. Yeah, I've heard that, and it is a lovely and very accurate description of what happens when you're ready to learn, when you're ready to do something differently. I think another thing is that we're so used to struggling on alone. You know, a lot of women that I work with are just used to doing things by themselves, struggling on and feeling as though it's a weakness somehow to get help. And also, getting help or asking for help can have been challenging for them in the past. I work with a lot of women who have been really let down by people. And it makes you very wary of taking that next step. But what I love to do through the process of teaching people, again, that word empowerment that you've mentioned, it's empowering them. It's empowering them with this tool and this ability that they have, but it's empowering them. It's a relationship that they develop within themselves in order to be able to have that relationship with their guardian angel. So it creates a lot of self-trust, a lot of self-confidence. It's not persuasion or someone trying to convince you of anything. It comes from a solid foundation from inside of yourself, and that's beautiful to see. It's not dependency, it's interdependence. It's being able to come together, do things together, and for that to be a positive experience.
Wow, interdependence, you mentioned it. I'm I'm still thinking about it, if it has to do with choice as well, because you have to choose it. It is a mutual agreement, right? Interdependence. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, it is, and choice is such it's a very empowering behavior. When I like to, it's interesting in the title of your podcast because I lots of people talk about deciding. You know, I'm going to decide or make a decision, and the root of that word, or the side piece of that, relates to death. Insecticide, homicide. It's the death of something. And what I love is your word, to choose. When you're choosing something, it's something which you have taken the time to work through, that you are taking a step towards in a way that comes from you. And those little choices lead you towards empowerment, to clarity, and that experience of feeling self-confidence so that you are able to live in a way which is self-fulfilling and self-perpetuating and self-reliant, but not isolating yourself, so that you can trust yourself and therefore trust other people.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. That reminds me of that sentence that says you are not alone, because you are not. And you mentioned the difference between decision making and making or not making a choice. Yes, something like that. And I had a hard time the last, or I would say my whole life, with the word decision. I would have said there's the word to cut in it, because you cut off any other possibilities or something. But when you mentioned homicide, I know this word, maybe I cannot pronounce, but it means death, and that's the truth. So I have to think about it now, and to choose means you can choose it today or not, and tomorrow you make a different choice. And for me, it had to do with I add one word to that, okay, with divorce, because the divorce of my parents, for example, and it was like a trauma. So the word decision is a little bit like that. But I learned, as a consultant for Bob Proctor, it's all about decision making, and you set a goal, etc. And I think the word choice is smoother. You can choose in every second. So this is why I renamed the podcast, or I extended it, because first it was only inspired podcast, and then I added the two words choice today. What is your choice today? And your inspired choice, it has to do with spirit as well. And I would like to ask you about the guardian angels now. Finally, no, I wanted to know, because I'm curious. Is it like, when I talk to them, can I choose every one of them, or do I have a special one, or how do I detect the one who is for me?
Yeah. So you have one guardian angel because you have one soul in this lifetime. So for each incarnation, for each time you come back to experience life, you have a guardian angel with you as your highest guide to direct you to the fulfillment of your purpose. So your guardian angel is like speaking with a best friend, a dear friend, but someone who deeply and completely understands you and exists only for you, and is always guiding you towards your purpose. And I think something that women or people that I work with often find challenging is the feeling of worthiness of that. Why do I have an angel with me only for me? I don't feel worthy. I don't feel important enough. I don't feel like my life is remarkable enough. I feel as though I'm taking from someone else when you can't possibly. But the thing about having a guardian angel only for you to guide you to your purpose is that when you live your purpose, when you do what you love, when you are living life in the way that was always intended, which is joyful and abundant and healthy and full of choice, you are contributing positively to the expansion of the entire universe. So it isn't just about you, it's about how we are all connected. And when we all align with our purpose, know who we are here to be, and allow ourselves to be that individual, we contribute positively to the expansion of the universe. And I will put that very simply: when you think about how you are in your life with others, when you're happy, when you're content, how you interact with people, the things that you say, the kind of conversations that can occur. That's just a tiny little example of what it's like when you live your purpose. You wake up every day excited. You have choice in every area of your life, and those choices look different for everybody. For me and my family, choice is about leaving England in 2023 and choosing to travel and visit countries all around the world ever since. And your choice will be something which is aligned with you and what's in your heart, without limitations, without any kind of struggle. Smooth. That's how you know it's your purpose, because it's smooth.
Yes, exactly. It is without effort. And when you when you told us about the having a, let's say, dedicated guardian angel just for me and for you, and then I thought about the word sharing, because I thought I had to share this guardian angel with someone else or other people, and this is not the case. Normally, sharing is something great as well, and I can have this guardian angel and share all the how's the word, all that I learned through the conversation with this guardian angel. How about that?
It's true. And I think it's interesting because sharing is something that we are taught is necessary. And it is in many ways. It is sharing and generosity and giving, and it's a big part of how we connect with each other and how we can show care. But when children are young, they don't want to share. They don't want to share at all. It's not instinctive to share. It's mine. This is something that's for me. And I think that that is the resonance that they have, often the connection that they have with not selfishness of not sharing, but this is my space, my guardian angel. This is just for me, and that's okay. That doesn't take from you. That doesn't mean that you don't have that. We can all have that together. So that always interests me with my children. Certainly, maybe it was just my children, but it's not instinctive. It's not, oh, please, can I share? It's like, do I have to share? Do I have to? And it's interesting how we are taught that in order for us to be accepted, we have to continue to give, give. But it's important that we have our own space, that we enjoy knowing that we have our own guardian angel, and that, yes, they are just for you, Caroline, right now with you in this moment.
That's so great what you said also about the topic of sharing. So I had no, or I still have no siblings. So my mother was always very eager for me that I learn how to share. And what it turned out, and I think I was not in school yet, it turned out that I always had to give the half of what I had and a little bit more. And I don't know if they intended it. Yes, it, for me, my perception was that I gave more than the half, and this was in just for me in my perception. And I just discovered it a couple of weeks ago or so, that maybe maybe there are some, I don't know, this is why I don't want to share. I don't want to share my guardian angel. Okay,
Yeah,
let's look at the next. Yes.
yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's interesting how we're brought up, and our parents are always doing their best. We are all failed and failing individuals. We're all only doing the best that we can ever do. Things that happen to you in childhood are so formative. And it would have been your parents' wish that you're someone that is generous and able to nurture great connections and relationships. And that if you don't have siblings, that you could become selfish and self-centered. And so it was give more on account of that. And you can see why they would see it that way. But for you, as you say, it makes you question, what must I give? Why must I give more than half? Why must I give more than I feel I want to give? And this whole question of selfishness, it's an interesting and self prioritize, self prioritizing. It's really interesting. It's like putting everybody else first. And it's one of the things that I see a lot in my work. So many women are self-sacrificing, and they really believe that everybody else's needs and everybody else's wants come before them. And they do this for years and years, and they end up feeling exhausted and drained. I've told you my story. It was the same for me. And then they feel resentful, and then they feel guilty, and then they withdraw. And when you board a plane, you are told quite clearly that you must put your oxygen mask on first before helping anybody else. It's a well-known analogy now for how important it is that you take care of yourself first. And when women understand that, what they begin to see is that they are able to empower other women, that they are able to strengthen their roles in life, strengthen themselves as a woman, as a mother, as a business owner, as any particular role that they have, not diminish it. So I'm quite, as you can tell, it's one of my favourite subjects to talk about. It's not selfish, taking care of yourself, making sure that you have enough. And that's all, as I say that, it is about having enough. That's all I've ever wanted, the feeling of enough. It's not being greedy. I don't want more. I don't want too much. I don't want overflow. I don't want waste. Enough. That feeling of enough. I think that's very significant.
That's a great feeling. Thank you so much for sharing. We can practice this. Of course, I have another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you help clients move beyond learning to fully trust themselves and their purpose?
It's a great question. So as a guardian angel communicator, I channel Tristan, and Tristan is my guardian angel, and he has been with me since birth, since conception actually, but I was aware of him since birth. And your guardian angel was with you since conception, has been with you throughout your entire life. And the way that I help women to have that confidence in themselves and have that confidence in their purpose and that clarity is through verbally channeling. Learning a process of communicating exactly what your guardian angel wants you to know. And it's interesting because through that process, something has to change inside of a woman. It doesn't happen in a forced way. It isn't something which can be pushed or made to happen or willed into being. I have conversations with clients sometimes before they enroll into my program about the program and what it's going to be like. And women will sometimes say to me, I'll do all the work. I'll work really hard. I've got great work ethic. I'm really focused. I had someone say to me the other day, you can do whatever you like to me. You can break me into pieces, is what she said, if you want. I said, I won't be breaking you into pieces, and neither will your guardian angel. But what you will need to learn is a different way. Not pushing, not forcing, not making things happen, but a process called allowing. And allowing is where I help clients to create a feeling of complete safety. It's very personal. It's a personal manifesting tone, but it is also an important and essential part of communicating with your guardian angel so that you can find your purpose. And what it means is that it puts women in the driving seat. It happens in their way, on their terms, but not from control and willing and making things happen and holding on tight and forcing and being exhausted and driving and striving and pushing. They have to learn another approach. And that approach transforms not just their ability to receive communication and to channel their guardian angel, verbally channel their guardian angel, but it changes all aspects of their life. So their purpose can manifest itself in many different ways. Women that go through the program manifest things like selling their house so that they can move and be closer to their kids, buying a house with their best friend so that they can have that companionship and togetherness that they've wanted. On that note, relationships, people finding love. Really a lot later in life when they felt like this is it. This is the way that things are going to be. Finding love and learning, not just through finding that love, to have a great relationship. Because when you're an older, more mature woman, you're very set in your ways. And to have someone else come into your life can require some adapting. But your guardian angel can help you with those things, with health things. Purpose for many women relates to their family. And how they can help their family. But purpose can be about increasing your own, boosting your own levels of health and well-being. So it can be a menopause journey that their guardian angel helps them through. And the thing about purpose is when you're living yours, you are motivated to get that energy out into the world in some way. So I help women to verbally channel their guardian angel, and sometimes they want to create a life purpose business that aligns with that, so that all of the experience that they've had over the years, everything that they've learned, everything that they have overcome, can be something that's out in the world helping people. And then their guardian angel helps them to share what it is, but not in a way that is more than half. Share what it is that they are here to be and do in a way that fulfills them, by really helping others in a meaningful way.
Wow, so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I have to re-listen to this interview again. There were so many nuggets in it. Thank you so much. And I have one last question, of course. For you, it is about how can we find you when people want to reach out to you, of course.
Of course. So Angels with Ros is my website. But I've also created something that people might really enjoy. So one of the first ways that you know your guardian angel is communicating with you is through numbers, like repeated numbers, like you see on your clock, or you see on receipts, and you see on, I don't know, parking spaces everywhere. You see in 11s and 22s and 33s. And so I've created a guardian angel number guide, which people can download, and they can start to understand what those messages mean for them. So that might be a lovely first step for people to take if they're just wanting to understand a little bit more about how their guardian angel can help them.
Wow, I will definitely check it out. Thank you so much for sharing and our interview. It was a pleasure. And now is time for your final thoughts to the audience, please.
So my final thoughts are that life can be just as wonderful as you hope. That when you reach midlife particularly, there is this thought that it is the end, that this is the final chapter, that you're just going to have to overcome health issues, the menopause, and that it's a kind of slow decline. But this really is an opportunity for you to create a new purpose, for you to live the life that you came here for. And I can tell you that age 50, if someone had told me that I would be traveling the world, which is my purpose, running 2 life purpose businesses, which I love and fill me with energy and allow me to travel and support my family, I would never believe it. And I'll tell you one more little secret thing. Although my top half probably looks quite respectable, I am sitting here and I've got my bikini bottoms on with shorts over the top, because I'm going to go and sit by the pool and work after we've had our call. So I hope that inspires.
Absolutely. I'm inspired now. I love that too. And please reach out to Ros. She's amazing. And find your guardian angel. And see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Inspired Choice today. I'm thrilled to have you on this journey of growth and transformation. Don't forget to hit follow or subscribe to stay connected and never miss an episode. And here's something special. Grab your free 20-minute breakthrough session with me. It's designed to help you kickstart or level up your business. Just check out the show notes for more. Until next time, keep making those inspired choices, and see you in the next episode.